drum roll. I'm gonna have to, so I am gonna be hosting my first full moon circle, like, open, and it's for everybody. So, and I'm gonna be sharing something in the Discord also, so give me a moment. So hold please. So this is happening depending on what screen you're looking at. Over here, yeah, this here is happening, this here is happening. So I'm actually really excited and am starting this. So I'm going to be hosting and it's going to be a consistent thing. I'm going to be hosting new and full moon circles continuously. So I've really created like a new structure, and that's going to be, I'll talk more about that in a little bit, and my ears are ringing. But this is the first one, and it's on the Aries full moon. I thought, what better sort of full moon to do it on than the Aries full moon, because it is the first sign, so the first gathering. And for those of you who are in my Discord, I'm going to be sharing something in the Discord, so just keep your eye out before you do anything or take any action, because yeah, I'm gonna toss this in here. We'll toss that there. So I'm just gonna have that there so that you guys can see that later after the live stream. So that's what's happening. So I'm gonna keep this up on my screen because self-promo, I want to have people gather with me, and more thoughts to come. There will be emails going out about this. So, do I know about the Aztec zodiac? Not deeply familiar with it, but cool. Oh my gosh, what a blast to the past. Holy shit. So for people who are hanging out on the Purple app, because I can't say the name of it because I'm dual streaming to TikTok right now too. I used to play Call of Duty with Cole when we were like, what, 15? It's freaking wild. Like I said, it's so funny. I started this stream with saying, like, I've been live streaming on this platform since I was like 15, 16. So super wild. I'm a retired gamer now, just so you know. I'm going to be talking about astrology stuff. But let's make this a little bit better visually. There we go. Oh, okay. That was I built the hype. I feel like a younger. Yeah, no, I know. We were probably way younger, actually. Yeah, I was living back in Utah at that time, so probably like 13 or 14. Anyways, astrology for the week ahead. We're going to be chatting about that. But before I jump into anything, how's everybody feeling? I know I asked my chat that earlier, but I would love to know, for those of you in the TikTok chat, how is your Sunday treating you? What's good? Fill me in. I did a reading this morning for my nail tech. By the way, look at my nails. They're always so freaking amazing. She does so good. Sorry, I have two cameras. I'm really trying my best here. They're very Libra season because it's got the dual tone colors, black and white with a little star on it. I did a reading for her, and that was super fun. And I love what I do. For those of you who have gotten readings from me, you know, it's so fun and super revealing and kind of spooky. Because you're like, how does this woman know all this about me? Okay, maybe I'm not going to share that thought. Welcome, Faith. Okay, so what's super cool, I've got my screens oriented correctly, I think, for what I want to talk about for the week ahead, but let's just kind of yap about what's happening in the sky this week. And as always, I always use this disclaimer before I jump into talking about the forecast for the week ahead, is whenever I'm talking about these transits, and for those of you who have joined my stream ritually every Sunday for the past, I don't know, I've been consistently doing this for the past like 6 months. For those of you who have been joining, you know that when I'm talking about these transits, I'm talking about the exact, they're coming into exact opposition, square, trine, whatever the transit is. This is their exactitude. So they're exactly at the degree that creates the transit. So that means we will feel the buildup building, and then we will feel it ebbing, just like the moon rotates from new moon all the way into full moon. We feel the buildup and then we feel the ebbing of it. So I always like to use that disclaimer because some people will feel some of these things a little bit more beforehand. So anyways. So what we've got going for the week ahead, October starts, which is super exciting. I freaking love October. I'm so ready. Is it just me, or did this like September feel like it just flew by? Right? Like this morning writing in my journal, September 28th, I was like, what? The eclipse portal was freaking wild. Anyways, so what we've got happening, September like felt like, I don't even know what, so much happened, but also so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like, I'm getting like the visual of like space and time folding. No, it was packed and slow and juicy for you. Oh my gosh. I don't know. It felt like time warped. Like, I don't know. Time's been really interesting for me. Yeah. Okay, Stormy saying it flew by for you. Yeah. It's like when I paid attention in the moments, it felt like time dragged on. But now that we're like at the end of it, I'm like, what in the world? So our only 2 transits that are really happening this week are both Mercury transits. And that's why the title of my Twitch stream is titled the way it is, because Mercury transits. So on Wednesday the 1st, October 1st, Mercury is going to be squaring Jupiter. And then on Friday, October 3rd, Mercury is going to make an opposition to Chiron. So those are our 2 transits happening this week. So I feel like this live stream is probably going to go a lot quicker than my other ones. Always the transits differ. And then, you know, we're going to be having this full moon in Aries on October 6th, which is a Monday. So I'll be having a live stream before then. So you guys will see me before that happens. But yeah, some fun transits happening that week also, which will be fun to talk about next week. I won't dive into those right now, but let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and I've got it TikTok. I can't say the words. I have to be careful about the words I say. Okay. We'll jump here for you guys. And then I think for TikTok, I think I've got you guys set up. It should be, yay. Okay. Put this here. Let me know how this looks. Over here. I know it's kind of cut off at the top. But to fit all of the stuff on the screen, it's kind of, yeah. Hi, Amanda. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna alter my camera here a little bit more. There you go. So I don't have to be like all over the place. Aries gal, let's go. Yeah, we're going to be having a full moon in Aries on October 6th. So if you want to join my full moon gathering, that is open. Yay. Thank you, Stormy, for the feedback. I love hearing that because I won't know unless you guys tell me if it likes, if for whatever reason it looks bad and you guys don't tell me, then I look like a fool. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump ahead. I like to show you guys this because I think it's fun, and I like to be an educator when it comes to talking about astrology, because each time you guys come to my live stream, I'm trying to educate you guys, and so you know and start understanding these things. And I feel like talking about it in almost like story oriented and like day by day understanding how things are shifting can be helpful. Maybe it's not, maybe it's just me, but We're going to jump into that. So I'm going to skip ahead, and I'm using this little time thing down here at the bottom. I thought I had it so you guys could see my thing, but you should be able to see me draw on the screen. Yay. Okay, we've got it all set up, which is awesome. So one thing that I do want to ask of you guys, if you are joining me on TikTok, definitely double tapping the screen. I know I sound like a freaking influencer, but it actually pushes the content out to other people who might benefit from this, and sharing it, all those things. If you guys don't know me, I've officially been on this TikTok account for a year now, like sharing almost every day for a year, and like I'm really now like taking things seriously. And so your guys' support, and however that looks, has been so beautiful, whether it's like commenting or getting readings from me or joining my community. Like, this is you making my dream come true. Thanks for the follow, Mank. I appreciate it. Hi guys, welcome. Okay, so as you can see in real time, you'll be able to see me kind of skipping through here. So as we're clicking through, you'll see the planets slowly shift. So this is going to be tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday the 1st is what we're going to be looking at, because we're going to be looking at this Mercury at an exact square to Jupiter. So gonna grab this guy here. So we can see Mercury is right here at 22 degrees. And if you haven't been to my live stream yet, I've been really talking about Mercury's role in this sort of transitional phase that we're going through. Mercury's kind of is the guiding light for the sun right now, because the sun is at 8 degrees of Libra. And you guys will have to forgive me. It's super smoky here, and I can actually feel it in my throat right now. So I'm gonna take a sip of water. Hold on. Hi Tisha. So yeah, I wanted to open the back of my house, but I couldn't because it's just way too smoky, and I can't do it in my lungs. And I'm wondering if that's why I had a really bad migraine yesterday, because I'm starting to feel it happen again. But so the sun is at 8 degrees of Libra right now, and so what's interesting is Mercury. Okay, I'm gonna nerd out a little bit about Mercury here for a second, because I love Mercury. I'm biased, I'm ruled by Mercury, and so I feel like a great spokesperson. It's like I'm selling cars, but it's Mercury. I don't have a shiny Swince. Dang it. That's gonna be so out of context for people watching the live stream recap. But so Mercury has this ability to move between realms, right? If we look at Mercury in Greek context, that's the god Hermes, and he has the ability to traverse to the underworld and to Mount Olympus, so to the underworld, to the heavens, and so back and forth. And so Mercury right now is sort of blazing a path for the sun. And so what you may notice happening right now is your mind versus like your soul and your heart and your egoic expression might be further ahead than the actual tangible steps right now. Okay. I know I was giggling, Tasia, because I was like, oh, what the hell? And then Kush brought up doing another like gathering, like a full moon gathering. And I'm like, oh, we're all on the same wavelength. We are all on the same wavelength, because if I'm being called to do this right now, and then people are asking for it, I'm like, oh, it's time. Like like suddenly I was like, oh, I've got to do this thing. So here we are. We're doing the thing. So Mercury is going to be making this. Oh man, poor Mercury. He's getting thrown into the trenches right now. And so what I want to invite you guys to notice with this transit, because Mercury, and this is what I'm trying to kind of rope you guys into understanding here, and it might not make sense right now, and that's okay. I can do my best to articulate it for you guys. So Mercury is ahead of the sun, right? So Mercury is sort of paving a path for the sun to follow. So what's happening to Mercury right now? We're going to feel the reverberations of this later into Libra season. The sun moves about a degree a day, whereas Mercury is flying forward right now and is moving about 2 degrees, even more a day. So we're going to be feeling this sort of like our mind is a couple steps ahead and is going through a little bit more, but then the like actual understanding of it will sink in a little bit later. Like our body will finally catch up, and that egoic expression. So Mercury's making this square to Jupiter at 22 degrees. And I always like to talk about squares as if they're the tectonic plates, because it's a 90-degree angle, right? So when you have two like tectonic plates and they're rubbing up against each other, and then suddenly there's this moment of like pressure coming up and something happens, right? You feel the pressure kind of burst, right? Something happens, an earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunamis. It might not even be that extreme, and you might not. Here's the kicker about the tectonic plates shifting is you might not actually feel it, but you might know somebody that does, and that somebody has a conversation with you and you feel the ripple effects. It's kind of the idea of like a butterfly's wing can create a hurricane somewhere else, right? It's this ripple effect. So we'll be feeling that. Thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it. I know I need to get a sinus rinse. I used to have one. I'm pretty sure my mom has one. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that. So to break down these two archetypes so that we can understand it here, we have Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer. Okay, there's some interesting connections happening here. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. That's going to get way too layered, and I want to make sure you guys can keep up with me. Jupiter has been in Cancer for almost a little less than a year. And so we can feel Jupiter is a benevolent planet, meaning he's here to bring beauty and expansion to us, right? And kind of push us out of our comfort zone, and in a beautiful way where it's more easier to be pulled out of that comfort zone. Now, Cancer likes its comfort zone, and so we've been really feeling this sort of like cozy, comforting, nurturing energy from Jupiter in Cancer. It's been very much like I've kind of been, for whatever reason, the metaphor of the hermit crabs coming up again. I used that in a video, I think, today, and it's coming up again looking at this Jupiter here, because it's kind of the idea of like Jupiter's helping you find like a new shell, and it's kind of like shopping for a new home. It's exciting. It's like, and the fact, I mean, literally, Colleen, you moved, you're in a new space, a new upgrade, new energy. It's kind of like this understanding of environments being more expansive is the energy of it. Now, and of course it depends on your own chart and where it's falling in your own chart. So there's always layers when it comes to astrology. Now, Mercury is in Libra. We've been having a lot of mirroring happening in communication, where it's sort of seeing, I'm like feeling into this for myself personally, because I like to speak from personal experience. Whoa! Thanks for the balloon crown. That was so sweet. Sleeps, welcome. And thank you guys for liking the live. It means so much. This square happening between Mercury and Jupiter is, I just heard, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? It's kind of this energy of confrontation with maybe what you're saying to people is not, it's kind of giving a lot of grandiose energy, if I'm being honest. You know, Mercury is our thoughts, it's our mind communication, and it can feel like frustrating inspiration. You know, those things where it's like, okay, this is kind of the example that I'm going to bring in, is the idea of seeing sort of frustrating things in the world, but it inspires you to take action in a way that you're like, I want to solve this. And oh God, Spirit gives me the weirdest like analogies to give to you guys, because if you guys didn't know this, a weird tangent, canned items, when they were created, when things were canned, the can opener wasn't invented, right? And so you literally had to like poke holes and like peel it open, and then somebody invented the can opener. It's kind of that energy of like this frustration, this tension is creating the opportunity for creation, for that birth energy, right? Even though it's like, yeah, it's got this tension happening here. it's going to create beautiful things. So, you know, without the invention of canned goods, a guy couldn't have been frustrated of opening his can and being like, how can we open this? How can we find a better way, a more convenient way to open this? That's kind of, I love the metaphors that come in when I'm talking about the astrology. It's always very interesting. Does that make sense, you guys? Just checking in. Checking the other platforms I'm on here. Mercury in Libra is very oriented towards having more pleasing conversations, and so there might be edges of like conflict in conversations that bring up this sort of like, well, I want to, for example, I'm just going to use this. I've been working on rebuilding my website, and I had my mom come in and I was like, hey, give me some feedback. And she did, and I didn't like the feedback. But it still was like, I humbled myself and I was like, okay, put myself in her shoes. What if this was like her coming to my website and, you know, looking at it and that was her feedback, then like, yeah, I should take that into consideration. So it's sort of that energy of, just because you might hear things that you don't like, but it's going to push you outside of that like sort of comfortable area. And it has to do with conversations with others. And I'm bringing that coin in because Mercury is in Libra. So it's kind of pulling you out of this like comfort zone that Jupiter's had you in. It's kind of like, I'm thinking of another example of, I'm thinking of, for my friend Colleen over here, she moved into a new space and it's like, you found the perfect couch on Facebook Marketplace and the conversation's going good, but you have to like really, you have to go out of your way to get it. Like, it's not easy. What if your natal Mercury is in Libra? So Mercury is in Libra for a little bit. So you'll be feeling this square from Jupiter to your Libra thing. So depending on the degree, right? But depending on the degree of your Mercury in Libra, it'll be making a square, and your other Libra placements might be making a square to this too. So just like kind of a gentle nudge out of the comfort zone happening here. Colleen over in the other chat said, I love being used for all the examples. My North Node in Leo is shining. Yeah, so this Jupiter square probably happened a little bit earlier, a couple months ago actually. So yeah. So our next transit that comes exact this week, if we skip ahead 2 days, and I want you guys to keep your eye on Mercury here, so watching Mercury move. We go 1, already moved 1 degree, 2. So moving about a degree a day. And so now we have Mercury in Libra. Love that. Your North Node's also in Leo. Oh, okay. That means you guys are... Okay. I always find it interesting finding like the other generations that have those placements, because it's really cool to see it in like future oriented and like how people have moved through that. We also, so we have Chiron down here, and you know what was really interesting? My brother, this is total side tangent, and I promise I will wrap this into the conversation as I always do. My brother sent me this video about a sort of blue-collar gentleman who is kind of embarking on the path of healing, and healing in the space that most of us are here, where we're embarking on a sort of inner journey. And he brought in Chiron, and I was so surprised because, you know, I'll be honest, I was totally stereotyping him. But he was, you know, talking about how he's new to this path and just essentially doing that Chiron work where it's like, this is where I am struggling and I have this pain point, and my way that I heal it is by helping other people heal it. And that's that message of Chiron and Aries here. Is Chiron and Aries, we've been dealing with this collective wound right now. We've all had this come to our attention as of the last few years of Chiron and Aries, is this wound of, who am I? Who even am I? Right? I feel like we all have just been collectively feeling this, like, who the fuck am I? So Chiron and Aries opposition is 180 degrees. opposing Mercury is, it's actually, oppositions are very beautiful energies because they kind of, it's almost like what Spirit just showed me was like a syringe, like pulling liquid into it, and being able, and it again kind of back and forth, and then I'm now thinking of like a hourglass, you know, this ability for the tension to move. Welcome Jen and Tonic. Wait, I love that username, that's awesome. I have another sip real quick, hold on. You guys should be proud. I'm actually like willingly drinking water right now. So this opposition is sort of, there's a lot of frustration here. Not in a bad way, but it's also, it's bringing up a conversation I had with my therapist, and it's sort of the best way to compare it in my lived experience of this opposition is sort of this experience of when you're going through a process, right, where whether it's through grief, which I'm currently really moving through a lot of grief right now, or it's just like, you know, what am I supposed to be doing with my love life, or what should I do with my career, whatever category it falls for you. When somebody else talks about it in a way as if it's almost belittling, or like they just don't understand the experience, or they suggest ideas that you've thought of but you're just not ready to take that action, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting here with this Mercury opposing Chiron, where it's sort of like other people are kind of bringing up the sort of where you've been dragging your feet a little bit. And it's not in a bad way, and it's never in a harmful way, but we're just so deep in our pain points that it's just like, ow, ow. I don't say that. A good example I'm thinking of the other day, my boyfriend here, actually made me laugh so hard about my story that I've created about my emotions. Because I get really like, oh, my emotions are so big, they're gonna destroy the world if I feel all of them and let somebody feel them. And he's like, that's not even real. And I was like, you know what, you're right. It's not even true. It's just been a story that I've been telling myself, and instead of just like letting people see me feel my feelings, I just don't, which is something I'm happily working on. But it's sort of this like kind of frustrating edge of like, yeah, maybe somebody tells you a truth that might be a little too hard to hear in the moment, but it does, you know, it kind of hits your heart in the right spot, that actually it's kind of giving that Rumi quote of like, the wound is where the light enters, and it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. And this is coming in the forms of like reflection from another. So you might even be seeing other people doing things that you're like, oh, whoa, that's really big. Or like, I can't believe they or I heard like coveting other people. Oh, burping. Coveting other people. Yeah, not exactly. Tanglet, by the way, Tanglet is my boyfriend. You think, yeah, you said you're too afraid you're gonna be way too much with your too much, and you're just feeling human emotions. As an Aquarius moon, human emotions feel awful. They suck. Hard launch. Oh, have we not been hard launched? I thought this was a common knowledge. What? Why is your friend in my TikTok? Nick, get out of here. Did I show... What the hell? He probably is like embarrassed now that I called him out. What the... Oh, damn, I knew it. I'm just kidding. You're welcome. We're talking about astrology, and I'm blaming all my life problems on what's happening. Because I'm afraid to take responsibility for my own actions. But this Mercury opposition definitely is feeling tense. You don't know about Pangea? Questions, comments, concerns about this, other than this probably is not going to be very comfortable. right? And I want to bring this into the conversation. People tell me to get creative when I'm hurting, and I'm like, no, yeah, that's so real. But it's also, when we think about like artists, we really actually create from a place of grief. That's usually when we have the most powerful revelations of creation, is when we're in those sort of grief portals, right? Like literally yesterday, I was like, spirit sat me on my ass. God was like, actually, boom, massive headache. Don't do anything. Because I tend to like I just like to work through my feelings, like just ignore them and just not feel them. Anyways, enough about me. Your lowest point is the doorway to your highest self. Ooh, I love that. Oh, good. I love that. It's funny. I actually shared one of my poems in one of my messages the other day, which was so wild. Yeah, and I hadn't read that poem in a long time. It definitely felt significant. Thank you guys for the likes. It's detected that your live chat didn't appear on your screen the past 2 minutes. No, my live chat is definitely on my screen. Weird. TikTok's funny. So this week, again, Mercury is like paving the way, and I want you to keep this moment in mind this Friday, the 3rd. I want you to keep this in mind because later in the month, we're going to feel that opposition from the sun opposing Chiron and the sun squaring Jupiter. We're going to be feeling these things. We're going to be feeling this in a more embodied sense. Right now, the mind's really going to be driving that. So it's, again, going to be sort of this mental energy of, are we out of eclipse season now? Yes. So, well, here's the thing. We have what's called an eclipse portal, which is the 2 weeks between eclipses. So we had a lunar eclipse on September 7th and then a solar eclipse on September 21st. That 2-week period, that was the portal, right? That was like when we were in the work, right? Now, if we take a look at the chart here, we've got the nodes, which the nodes are not placements, but they're mathematical equations that show us where the eclipses are happening. And they're happening within the axis of Virgo and Pisces. And so they last about 1.5 years in each sign. So this was a catalyst for the next 6 months. So these themes of what's happening now, the work, it's kind of like a portal, right? It's a glance into, it's kind of like a freaking crash course of like what's going to kind of unfold the next 6 months is the way eclipse portals work. And so then now what happened in that condensed 2 weeks, it's kind of like integration for the next 2 months. And then we kind of get this moment of, we get the next eclipse portal, which actually the next eclipses will be starting on February 17th. And it's a solar eclipse in the last degrees of Aquarius. It's going to start, it's going to be, we're kind of changing the guards. Yeah. So it's not like you're in it, but it's the integration process. We're integrating these lessons because the nodes are still here. Bye, Tasia. Thanks for hanging out. So the nodes are still here. So the lessons are still present. And then they'll switch signs. We'll kind of see them switch between Aquarius and Leo later in the year or next year. Yeah. So it's not like we're in it still as far as like hyper fixated on it, but those themes, it's kind of like a ripple effect. You're going to notice those themes continuing to unfold for the next 6 months. Yeah. So yeah, really good questions. I really love it. Also, I don't have to, I'm close to reaching like a goal of like comments in the chat on TikTok. And I think I'm like really close, which is really cool. So spam the chat real quick. You don't have to, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. They reward you for all this stuff. And I don't know. My brain just went into like video game mode and was like, I want the reward. I don't know what it is. Yeah, let's go. Ah. Let's go. Yippee. So that's literally the transits that are happening this week. They're all Mercury oriented. And again, when I'm talking about these transits, I'm talking about when they're making exact connections, right? What if one has an Aries moon, considering Aries moon coming up? So this Aries full moon coming up is going to be, let's even take a peek at that. It's going to be on the 6th. Cast this chart. Oh, I actually think this is going to be actually right on your moon, if I'm correct. I'm kind of forgetting the exact degree of your moon, which actually might be really freaking awesome. Yeah, I figured when I started piecing it together, I was like, I think I know who you are. Yeah, as soon as I heard the Mercury in Libra, I was like, wait, I think I know who you are. Yeah, so it's going to be at 14 degrees. I'm like, is your moon at 14 degrees? I think it's a couple degrees earlier, but it's pretty close, which is super cool. 20 degree. Okay. Oh, I remember I had your other, the wrong chart locked in my brain. Remember I pulled up the wrong chart, and then, yeah, that was really funny. But yeah, and I'm going to be doing a whole separate video on this full moon that I'm going to be filming tomorrow, so definitely keep your eye out tomorrow for it, because I like to do everything all in one day. That's kind of how I do things, for whatever reason. This full moon has really, really good energy, I'll be super honest. I'm actually really excited for this full moon, because it's just... got some really supportive energy, and it actually feels like a true celebration, which is why it feels very like significant that I'm pointing at places on my screen. Significant that I'm doing these events, because I want to like really like solidify this energy and like kind of allow it to be sort of this inner flame sort of thing. So the moon, having a full moon within your moon sign, is just really that heightened expression of it. I think it's really beautiful. Yeah, I don't really feel any sort of like heaviness with this full moon. It's if I'm recalling, what decan is it in? It's in the 3rd decan, ruled by the I like to look at this open. I just want the image open. Image. If you guys have never seen this, this is the decan wheel, so I'm going to be looking at Aries. It's ruled by the sun. Okay, this is beautiful, and it's the 3 of Wands. Yeah, it's all about like vision, so I'm going to dive a lot deeper into that into my video that I'll be sharing tomorrow, but it is a really good energy. Sold my... No! You play Valorant? Or I don't know, maybe, unless you're talking about a different thing. Yeah, guys, I'm pretty stoked about this week. It's gonna be a little bit, conversations are gonna have some tension, you know, with this square to Jupiter and the square to, or the opposition to Chiron, but it's not bad. It's definitely, I don't like to use terms good or bad within astrology, because my perspective is truly one of like opportunity. Chamber main. I'm a fade main. I had to uninstall Valorant. I'm not actually very good at it at all, but I'm gonna just stare at the chart, see if anything else speaks to me. You know, Mars is in Scorpio too right now, which is like pretty fun. I'm a big fan of Scorpio energy. Laughing till I have to go. Gotta go stuff. Oh. Yeah, I'm just really feeling this like October, you know, because we're starting the month. October is about to be a month that's kind of a lot of preparation energy. It's kind of the energy of not like doomsday prepper, but like prepper as in harvesting things. It's kind of gathering your harvest, your crops, the things that you've been working on, really taking stock of like what you have and what you actually want to take into the winter months. And so there's sort of this descent that's happening, and it's happening through conversation with people, or like reflecting with people. When we're in Libra season, there really is such a beautiful invitation here of allowing other people to mirror you, and it's again reflecting. And you may notice in my channel messages on this TikTok that some of the things that I talk about, it reflects the astrology, and they all work hand in hand. And it really is this sort of thought that other people carry keys for us and parts of ourselves, you know, that are unlocked by being in the presence of another person. And I really, really feel that with this Libra season is there's kind of a lot coming in. Like, I had the most wonderful person get a reading from me the other day. And I'm not saying that everybody who gets readings from me are absolutely wonderful people. And I feel so grateful for like the sort of connections that come from just showing up, right? And so there's like this reflection energy that's happening here with this Libra season that's really allowing us to kind of prepare the descent into the underworld. And I say that term because Libra season leads into Scorpio season, and that's entering the underworld. And it's that God, words are, I'm really struggling with them. That sort of mystic energy of Persephone descending into the underworld and diving deeper. So it's exciting stuff.